Good afternoon, everyone. Incidents of engine flameout due to fuel freezing as temperatures normally at 40 to 60,000 feet descend down to 25,000 feet, rare, becoming normal. Arctic lightning up 3x. EF4 twister in Georgia, only the 10th incident in 7 decades. Record low temperatures detected at the top of thunderstorms. Space hurricanes now officially in the record books, confirmed. And Saturn's equator brightens, as well as the poles. Electromagnetic effects from our Earth to other planets across the solar system. The sun stepping down into the grand solar minimum. The whole neighborhood's affected. The Biden administration and Democrats in Congress are wasting no time in their efforts to reset the direction of America's future. The Wall Street Journal estimates that of the $1.7 trillion stimulus bill, only $825 billion was directly related to COVID. And it's estimated that 2021 will include another $3 trillion in stimulus money printing, bringing the total to $6.3 trillion in 2020 and 2021 alone. And that's why you'll instantly understand when Wells Fargo and Goldman Sachs both say it's the time to buy gold. It's time to heed that advice. Patriot Gold Group has the no-fee-for-life IRA, where your IRA or 401k can be in physical gold and silver, and you may be eligible for the no-fee-for-life IRA. So go ahead and give the folks at Patriot Gold Group a call to discuss physical gold and silver. And the knowledge that Patriot Gold Group is Consumer Affairs' top-rated gold IRA dealer 5 years in a row from 2016 until present. Click the link in the description box below for more information. And now on with the video. And this article right here off Electroverse. Increased incidence of engine flameout due to jet fuel freezing. So this was an email sent in anonymously from a Royal Air Force airframe technician who details these incidents that are becoming quite common now. Now, they were unheard of a few years ago, an engine flameout. And they go through a couple parameters here of jet fuel A freezing at 37 degrees Celsius below zero and jet fuel A1 freezing at 47 degrees Celsius below zero. And when the kerosene freezes, it freezes into a wax crystal. That's more dense than the kerosene. It sinks to the bottom, and then when the engine fuselage heats, then that melts the wax and allows it to recombine and then burn. But what's been happening is these temperatures are so incredibly cold in the lower atmosphere now that at low power settings off the jet engines, engine oil is not making enough heat to effectively melt the wax, quote-unquote, flaming out. Now, here's the thing that matches right up with the grand solar minimum intensification, changes atmospherically that we've been seeing in the solar system over the last year and a half. The stratosphere, these types of temperatures at minus 50 degrees to minus 60 degrees Celsius, which would freeze that fuel, are normally at 40 to 60,000 feet. But it seems that these lower altitudes are now at these same temperatures at 50 degrees Celsius below zero, down to 25,000 feet. So something significant has shifted in terms of altitude and temperature. It's only possible through electromagnetism and effects with Earth's magnetosphere driven by the sun. Also, with more electromagnetic effects coming down the poles in those field-aligned currents, Arctic lightning up 3x in one 11-year study. So the global amount of lightning has moved up from 0.2% to around 0.6% in 2020. Now that should increase the further that we continue down in temperatures and effects from the sun stepping down also in its 400 or 2,000 year cycle. Now in earnest, this lightning flash making records started in 2019 off of this significant event here. Well, significant, just a dozen or so flashes. And the first time ever with a grouping at such intensity, right in the location, right at the North Pole, just in 100 miles or so. Tracking lightning, University of Washington, 60 degrees north latitude and above all the way to 90 at direct North Pole. That encompasses all that area. So this is not direct over the North Pole as the 2019 event was. But it shows you the increase. And where we sit in 2020, you would expect 2021 to jump above that. And then you'll understand why this article about space hurricanes was released at the exact same time as the 3x lightning increase study. Well, what they're showing is these field-aligned currents are allowing more charged particles to interact, even during quiet geomagnetic periods or conditions. They're proving the electric universe. And this quote-unquote eye-catching phenomenon seen for the first time. Although the study originally started in 2014, it's really interesting that they released it at this time, showing you the field-aligned currents, possible debut of a new energy system, along with all the disclosure and release of quote-unquote unrecognizable flying objects, free power inbound, perhaps Tesla. But at the same time, atmospheric conditions, if we are looking at electromagnetic changes, jet streams, air mixing patterns, things that we're seeing at heights and temperatures are going to change. And Noonan in Georgia, struck with that EF4 tornado, was only the 10th rare in 7 decades. But what's interesting is it matches with 2011, which was the most tornadoes on record because of the intense La Nina coming into springtime, and we are mimicking that with just a couple tenths of a degree warmer in the La Nina comparatively. So that's the reason that this spring is going to have such intense and incredible weather, because it's matching 2011. And also another of firsts and wows making the headlines here this month. Super cold thunderstorm setting global temperature record. What it talks about is how when cumulonimbus clouds are rising up into the atmosphere, generally they get pinched and they stop at certain levels in the atmosphere. Now, when it overextends past the troposphere, they call it overshooting the top. Because you can see the clear layer that's there, but then you can also see areas that have popped above what would have been the pancake layer. And they put some statistics here. About 7 degrees Celsius for every kilometer it goes above the troposphere or overshoots that glass ceiling layer. And this temperature record was off a typhoon that was heading toward the Philippines. This is the lowest temperature ever recorded on Earth at the top of a thunderstorm, at 111 degrees below zero. And Celsius and Fahrenheit match up. When you get below that 40 degrees Fahrenheit or Celsius below zero, they start to march lockstep in the declining temperatures there. But it was interesting because this event was 2018, but why would they release it right now and then reiterate and reiterate? We got the field line currents in the space hurricane from 2014, 15, 16, 17 study, released right on the back of this 2018 record low temperature, and they're trying to dovetail it into the Arctic lightning. And then we got jet flame, engine flameouts, and if you put these together, somebody is clearly trying to deliver a message. And we saw the atmosphere of Pluto collapse, followed by the storms and atmosphere on Neptune reversing themselves. So this May, if there is any atmospheric disturbance on a clockwork pattern coming inward in the solar system, we should start to see something right around the end of April or May on Uranus or Saturn. And here we are, the equator brightened by about 5 to 10%, but they're throwing you off because what I see is the auroras at the top and the North Pole there significantly different. Because for me, this image of the years separated here, equatorial regions look really similar. It's the same field-aligned currents that are generating the space hurricanes that are also sending the largest auroras of a 10x increase off Jupiter, and these increases in Saturn as well. It's a solar system phenomenon. It's not just earthbound. It's the sun stepping down, and all planets are being affected. So make sure you keep saving for your retirement. Make sure you're putting money away for your 401k. Because if you had this information out on the daily news, nobody would do that. It would completely upset the balance of society. So I guess ignorance is bliss. But knowing these changes are inbound, you're going to want to look for some long-term storable foods. My Patriot Supply and Adapt 2030, the 2-week or the 4-week emergency food supply. And My Patriot Supply also has 6-month, 1-year packs, as well as the Mylar bags, oxygen packs, if you want to take your own bulk foods and start to store it into longer shelf life food supplies. That link's in the description box below, along with the links to all of tonight's videos, images, so you can backtrack the information and go down the rabbit hole yourself. I do thank you for watching, and I'll see you next video.